Damn. I don't know. You probably didn't hear that, or maybe you did.
What was that?
The lady who says recordings in progress.
I did hear her. I
Yeah.
hear her every day.
So she's so loud.
Can you choose the voice? Can you make it another voice?
I do not know about that. I would have to research that and see if that's a possibility because that would be nice to have a kinder, gentler voice rather than one who screams at the top of the
Oh, she's
uh
nice.
yeah of the the maximum volume that you could have.
I remember it makes me think of my GPS back in France. I could pick the voice
uh,
that I wanted to guide me. I think it's still the same with GPSs, right? You can choose a voice.
Probably, yeah. I usually just use the one on my phone, and I just tolerate the default voice, and I never really consider whether I could change it. I know that Siri has a
Oh,
lot of options, but I don't like Siri at all. I'd rather not ever talk to Siri.
yeah. But I remember for the GPS, I could choose,
Mm,
like a hot Italian voice or a
yeah.
boring or the English lady or whatever.
Yeah, actually, I remember my girlfriend would she had it built into her Subaru, the GPS, and she chose somebody who was speaking in, I want to say, French,
Okay.
just so
Yeah.
she could practice listening
Yeah.
in French.
I think it's fun to be able to
Yeah,
pick up, yeah, a voice that is motivating you, inspiring you, rather than a voice that you don't like.
a voice is turn
Yeah.
around.
Some people like that, so
Yeah, yeah,
it's there.
yeah.
Yeah. So
It's
I missed the book read the when right when I was anyway a little frustrated. Right when Alan D. Thompson last night started talking, my daughter woke up, so I had
yeah.
to
Well,
leave. So
yeah.
I missed a nice part of the book reading that we ended yesterday.
Yeah, it was really inspirational. It was
Yeah,
really I like that they did the breakout rooms. That was fun.
it was very fun. Who were you with?
I would actually Maria was in the room with me, and I'm trying to remember who I can't remember her name, but she has all these paintings in her background. Um, I'm sure the name will come to me. And
Oh,
then
Cordelia or
no,
John
no,
Clare?
no, no,
Okay, so I don't know.
no.
Mm,
And then Nan, who is a good friend of Stephen Amy's from way back, was with us.
nice.
So that
Yeah.
was fun. What about you?
I had Matt
Uh,
from Canada, and he
uh,
spoke a little French. And I had what's her name? She read recently the chapter on, oh my goodness, what's her name? I think I wrote it. I already wrote it. Kia Stewart.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And we had Gary Maller for a little too. So
Oh
that was
wow.
cool.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's really cool.
it
Yeah.
was awesome. Anyway, yeah, so we just ended the book reading, The Ultimate Coach, that through which you and I know one
Yeah.
another.
Yeah.
And so this was the second season of reading it in community all together. And we just completed it last night. So that's
Yeah.
what
I
we're talking
I
about.
I managed to I think I attended every one this time around. So I experienced the entire book
Nice.
through these community readings, which was really
Nice.
really
Yeah,
special.
this was my second year, like second time. I did both last time and this time, but I wasn't 100%. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so how is your day going?
It's going pretty well. I went to Toastmasters meeting. I missed last week, and
Oh yeah, you
I
were sick.
the president was out with I don't know. I hope it's not the same thing. I hope I didn't give her. But she's out sick, and so I
Oh,
filled in as president and chief evaluator, which was her role this morning. And so it was nice to be back in action. And yeah, I can't say enough good things about that group of people, and the way we run a meeting is just tight. It's really
efficient,
we had
efficient.
four speakers, and Two of them were longer speakers. Typically, when we have a meeting, speakers will present a 5 to 7 minute speech, but we had one speaker did a 6 to 8 and one did a 10 to 12, I think, or something, plus two 5 to 7. And we had evaluations and a full slate of table topics. And I just ran
Yeah,
like
it's smooth.
clockwork, which
It's
was
very
really
well said.
amazing. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I've noticed, I remember when I first joined Toastmasters and we would go live, sometimes people would be hanging out in the back. Maybe
Mhm.
they'd be chatting, they'd be sitting by the coffee service and chatting a little bit. But there was none of that today. Everybody was really involved and really engaged and listening. And it
What
was
are
just
some of the subjects that were
um,
Mhm.
today we had one was about social media and sort of the dangers of social media, and one was about participating as it was actually the title of the speech was how to be a leader, but it was more about encouraging us to all be good evaluators. And that's one of the things that I like about this group is we kind of went away from it on Zoom because it's harder to do, but live we have these forms in front of us, and every time somebody gives a presentation, pretty much everybody in the room will fill out an evaluation form. And so as a speaker, you'll get maybe 20 to 30 evaluations from different people, plus the spoken evaluations by a featured evaluator. So that's very valuable. So he's encouraging us to
Exactly.
evaluate. And let's see, who else do we have?
What did you talk about?
Well, I didn't. I was just the chief evaluator, so I
Good.
just facilitated the whole thing and introduced the evaluators. There was one woman, Dawn Lehman, gave. Maybe you saw one of her speeches where she talked about she's doing a series on the great composers.
Yes, the day you invited me, she was there. She did it
Yeah,
on Mozart
yeah.
or
So she did this.
Beethoven.
This one was on Beethoven. And it was
Beethoven. Nice,
really
nice,
powerful. It was extraordinarily
nice. I
powerful.
like
It's very good. And I'm trying to remember who the other one was right now. It's slipping my mind who the other one was, but four fantastic speeches, four evaluations, and I think everybody who did not participate with an assigned role participated in the table topics, the impromptu portion of the meeting. So we fulfilled the ideal that you go to a meeting and no matter how many people are there, everybody gets a chance to participate and speak.
That's wonderful. I like
So,
it. Yeah,
so
that's
yeah,
very
it was
inspiring.
really
Yeah.
cool.
Yep. Isaiah was telling me, you said some people were sick. His hockey team, they had to
Mhm.
cancel games this
Oh
weekend
yeah.
because there were just 5 of them.
Wow.
Everybody else was sick, out sick.
And
He
how many
said,
do you need to play a hockey game?
I even don't know, 7, 8?
And so
Not
okay.
sure. See, I'm very, I'm still not. Anyway, but he said a kid was out with pneumonia till January. And right
Oh
now
man.
it's the finals, he's doing his exams, and I was sorry. But Isaiah is not sick, so that's good.
Well,
Yeah,
that's good. Well, let's cross our fingers. Let's
yeah, I'm
let's
sure he's
send
going
good
to be
vibes that
fine.
he escapes
I'm
it.
sure he's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's a tough. He's rarely just like me. We've been endowed with a good health. We're
Uh,
rarely sick, so anyway, hopefully it's
yeah,
gonna continue this way.
that's good because there's a lot of stuff going around right
I
now. We
know,
were
I
down.
know.
We
Yeah.
didn't have any guests today. We had and several people who I usually see there were missing, and
Mhm.
I missed out last week because of illness. So yeah.
That's wonderful. Yeah. So I picked up my book again, The Myth of Normal, and it's like I'm reading it again, and
Uh-huh.
it's excellent. And yeah, so I've been writing, reading, writing. It has been good. It's very inspiring.
So how long that's a big book. Uh,
Yes, I have the audio too, so I listen to it, and I listen, and then I go back to the chapters that to the pages that really speak to me, and then I take annotations. Yeah,
mhm.
but it's how many hours? It's long. It's a big book. It's 17 hours.
17 hours. Wow, that is long.
It's a big book, yeah.
Yeah.
But you do an hour every day in less than 20 days, you've done it, right?
Yeah.
So It's a good book.
Yeah, but you're thinking this is a book that you would, well, it sounds like it's a book that you would go back to over and over and return to
Yeah,
over and
it's,
over
I
again.
mean, since I have all of his other books, I know a lot of the stories he tell in the book, I know about because he talked about them in the previous books, but it all comes together. And what I love is that this is his other books. The last one was maybe 10 years ago.
Mhm.
And so he's a doctor, he's an MD, and science evolves. And so it's like he's evolving all of his previous books in this one, bringing it all together. So it's never obsolete. So what he talks about, other doctors that I follow, other people, thought leaders that I follow also talk about it. So I just love that everything is integrated. It all comes together. And every time I open a page, I read just a little chapter. It, is food for a lot of thoughts.
Yeah.
Material for a lot of thinking and writing and sharing. So
Yeah. Could you give just in case somebody's watching and they don't know about this, like what's the premise of it and what is the central message?
the central message is that although science has evolved a lot, we are still missing the connection between mind and body, and that a lot of the disease of our current our current world is linked to that disconnection between the mind and the body.
Okay.
And the fact that a lot of things that happen now in society has become the new normal.
Okay.
And that, the name of the book is Trauma, Illness, and Healing in a Toxic Culture. And he called it the myth of normal because he said we've moved away from the natural ways. Today, what is unnatural has become normal. And
Okay.
he says that is why, although science is super, advanced today, it's still a time where there is more and more people sick, and everyone, has cancer. Cancer has touched every family, and so that's like a cognitive dissonance, right? And so I can read. He said, over 4 decades of clinical, he has come to recognize that the prevailing understanding of normal as false, neglecting the role that trauma and stress, as well as the pressures of modern day living, exert on our bodies and our minds at the expense of good health.
Okay.
For all our expertise and technological sophistication, Western medicine often fails to treat the whole person, ignoring how today's culture stresses the body, burdens the immune system, and undermines emotional balance.
So he's talking about industrialized society or more developed society?
No, he is talking about how our culture basically is making us sick.
Okay.
How, like a culture is something you're steeped into.
Okay.
Or the word that, are you something you're steeped into, or the things that are around you. And so our culture has become our poison, basically.
Okay, so but when we're talking about culture, are we talking about a specific culture around the world, or just the entire culture of the world?
Like when he talks about mental health, for example, it's an issue everywhere in every continent. In Europe and in the US and in China, it's the same everywhere. So there is a mainstream culture that is accurate everywhere in the world, although each continent, each country has its specificities, right? And he talks about coming back to, for example, there is a part on children, on education, on attachment. There is an innate, we're all human beings, so we all have the same basic needs, And if those needs are not met, we have a problem, right?
Mhm.
So whether we are in China or in the States or in Senegal, that remains true.
Mhm.
Okay. So we're human beings with the same innate and human, needs. And if we don't answer to those needs, then it will show up as a disease. He
Okay.
said, for example, that a lot of the chronic disease like ALS and a lot of form of cancers, etc. And he proves it, in the book, are because of repression. So when you have flare-ups, when you have inflammations, sometimes,
Mhm.
it's due to some of the things that are happening inside your body, etc. I mean, it's 17 hours that I can't
Sure. Yeah, hard to distill it
summarize in 3
into one
minutes, and I
sentence.
won't give him justice. I can talk about a specific thing. Like yesterday, I posted about trauma. He said that trauma is there, and if you don't work it through, it will have an impediment on your growth. You can't grow.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
That is trauma. It has to be worked through. It has to be processed. It doesn't just go away. You can just bury it. It has an impact on you, on your emotional, social, relational, all of the aspects of your life. And if you don't work it through, yeah. And anyway, so that he talks a lot. He says trauma is the basis of all of it. Something that happened, trauma with a big T or a small t, something that happened, like something big, like I don't know, war, or something against you, or a small, like something we call small trauma that could be the impact of, I don't know, divorce, for example.
Yeah.
But that's something that happens, and your brain has to work in a way that it will enable it will suppress some things, some memories, etc., for you to be able to cope with it, to survive. But it's a part of your development that stops at that point. So that has an impact on how you are overall now. So if you want to move past it, if you want to evolve, to grow, you need to go back to it and restore whatever was lost at that point.
Gotcha.
Anyway.
All right. Well, that's good. Any other comments you want to make about that?
I mean, it's a book that I recommend to everyone. It is, because once you can't unknow, and it's not like, taking everything and applying everything, but once you have the information, wow, it does make so much sense. And, you can have a better outlook and, make better choices for your life, for a better health, for longevity, for everything that we all want, right?
Right. That's good. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us.
Yes.
This is illuminating this morning.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. All right. There we go. Good.